Introduction: The myth of the natural speaker. The moment comes. Your name is called. You have to walk to the front of the room, to the stage, or simply to the head of the conference table. All eyes are on you. Your heart starts to pound, your palms get sweaty, and a frantic internal monologue of pure terror kicks in. Don't mess this up. What if I forget what to say? They're all going to see that I'm a fraud. You look at the great speakers you admire. The Steve Jobs, the Breen Browns, the leaders in your own company who can command a room with effortless grace. And you are convinced of a powerful, paralyzing myth. The myth of the natural speaker. You believe that the ability to speak with confidence and charisma is a magical, inborn gift, a personality trait you were simply not born with. This is a complete and total lie, and it is the single greatest obstacle that prevents smart, capable professionals from sharing their best ideas with the world. Great public speaking is not an art. It is a craft. It is not a gift. It is a skill. It is an architectural project. The effortless delivery you see from a master speaker is not a sign of a lack of effort. It is the sign of a massive amount of preparation. They are not a magician. They are an engineer who has systematically deconstructed, architected, and rehearsed their message to perfection. Welcome to From Zero to Communicator. This is not a book of vague tips like be more confident or picture the audience in their underwear. This is a practical, step-by-step roadmap for becoming a clear, confident, and highly influential public speaker. We will treat the act of giving a presentation not as a terrifying performance, but as a learnable, repeatable, and deeply rewarding engineering process. First, we will demolish the myth of the natural speaker and install the powerful guide, mindset, which is the secret to overcoming public speaking anxiety. We will give you the core architectural blueprints for structuring a compelling message. Next, we will give you the tactical, hands-on playbooks for the entire process, from engineering your content and designing your slides to mastering your delivery and handling the Q&A like a seasoned pro. We will show you how to rehearse, how to manage your nerves, and how to command a room. It's time to stop letting a fear of the stage keep your best ideas in the dark. The system is learnable. The skills are transferable. The path to becoming a powerful, persuasive, and authentic communicator begins now. Part 1. The Foundation. The Architecture of a Powerful Message. Case File 01. The Architect's Mindset. You are not a performer. You are a guide. Before you write your first slide, we must perform the most profound and liberating identity shift of your new journey. The number one cause of public speaking anxiety, and the primary reason that most presentations fail, is that the speaker is operating with the wrong identity. They are trying to be a performer. A performer's mindset is entirely self-focused. They are standing on a stage, under a harsh spotlight, and their internal monologue is a frantic stream of self-conscious questions. How do I look? How do I sound? Do they think I'm smart? Am I going to be judged? This mindset is a recipe for anxiety, a stiff delivery, and a complete disconnect from the audience. You are not here to be a performer. You are here to be a guide. This is a non-negotiable and game-changing distinction. A guide's mindset is 100% audience-focused. You are not on a stage to be judged. You are a trusted expert, and you are there to take your audience on a journey. Your job is to guide them from a state of confusion to a state of clarity, from a state of ignorance to a state of understanding, or from a state of apathy to a state of action. The spotlight is not on you. It is on the message and on the audience. This is a shift from a presentation to a conversation. It is an act of service. The performer asks, "How can I impress them?" The guide asks, "What is the one single most valuable thing my audience needs to hear from me today?" The performer is worried about memorizing their lines. The guide is obsessed with the audience's understanding. The performer sees the audience as a panel of judges. The guide sees the audience as a group of people who have a problem they have the privilege of helping them solve. When you adopt the guide mindset, your anxiety dissolves. When you are genuinely focused on being of service to your audience, you forget to be nervous about yourself. Your delivery becomes authentic. You're no longer trying to be a perfect, robotic speaker. You're simply a person talking to other people about something you care about. As you work through this roadmap, your new identity must be your North Star. Every decision you make must be filtered through this one simple question. Does this serve my audience? Case File 02. The Audience First Mandate. The unbreakable law of it's not about you. You're a guide. Your job is to serve the audience. This is your new mindset. Now, you must translate that mindset into a practical, architectural process. Before you ever think about what you want to say, you must first develop a deep, empathetic, and almost obsessive understanding of your audience. The amateur speaker makes a fatal, ego-driven mistake. They build a presentation that is a monument to their own expertise. They cram their slides with every single thing they know. They use dense, insider jargon to show how smart they are. Their presentation is a knowledge dump. The architect of influence knows the unbreakable law of all communication. Your audience does not care about you. They do not care about your credentials. They're sitting in that room, giving you their attention, and they're subconsciously asking one single, selfish question: what's in it for me? Your entire presentation must be engineered from the ground up to be the answer to that one question. This is the audience empathy blueprint. Before you write a single word of your talk, you will create a simple, one-page audience empathy map. Step 1. The who. Who specifically is in this room? What are their job titles? What is their level of expertise on this topic? Step 2. The pain. What is their before state? What is the primary problem, frustration, or pain point that your audience is currently experiencing that your talk can help them solve? For example, they're confused by the new company strategy. Step 3. The gain. What is their desired after state? What is the single, most desirable outcome or transformation that you want your audience to experience? For example, I want them to leave this meeting with a feeling of absolute clarity and excitement about the new strategy. Step 4. The headwinds. What are their objections? What are the likely points of resistance, skepticism, or cynicism that you will face? For example, they're going to be skeptical of another big new initiative because they've seen them fail before. This simple, one-page empathy map is now the architectural brief for your entire presentation. It is your North Star. Every story you tell, every piece of data you present, and every slide you design must now be measured against this document. Case File 03. The Anatomy of Fear. A jargon-free blueprint of public speaking anxiety. You are about to speak. Your heart is pounding. Your hands are shaking. Your mouth is dry. Your brain is a chaotic mess of catastrophic, worst-case scenarios. This is the fight or flight response, and it is the universal, biological reality of public speaking anxiety. The amateur speaker sees this fear as a sign that something is wrong. They believe it is a personal failure. This creates a vicious feedback loop. They feel fear, they get scared of the feeling of fear, which creates even more fear. The architect knows that to control a system, you must first understand it. Fear is not a personal failing. It is a biological process. This is the saber-toothed tiger blueprint. First, the why of the fear. Your brain's fight or flight system was designed to keep you alive in a world of physical threats. When you're standing in front of a group, your primitive brain cannot tell the difference between the social threat of being judged and the physical threat of being attacked by a predator. So, your brain does what it is designed to do. It floods your system with adrenaline. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing becomes shallow. This is not a malfunction. It is your ancient survival system operating perfectly. Next, the reframing protocol. The secret to managing this fear is not to eliminate it. It is to relabel it. The physiological symptoms of intense anxiety are almost identical to the symptoms of intense excitement. The only difference is the story you tell yourself. The amateur story is, my heart is pounding. I'm having a panic attack. The architect's reframe is, my heart is pounding. This is my body giving me the energy I need to perform at my absolute peak. I am not anxious. I am excited. You will literally say this to yourself out loud before you go on stage. Finally, the physiological protocol. You can use simple hacks to calm your body's response. The box breathing technique is a powerful tool used by Navy SEALs. You will inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Repeat this for 60 seconds. Also, the power pose. A few minutes before your talk, find a private space and stand with your hands on your hips and your chest out like Superman. Research shows that adopting a confident posture can actually change your body's chemistry. Case File 04. The one-page blueprint, the only planning tool you'll ever need. You are ready to start building your presentation. The amateur speaker, at this stage, makes a fatal error. They immediately open PowerPoint or Google Slides. They start designing slides, writing bullet points, and choosing fonts before they have any idea what the core message or the logical flow of their talk is. They're decorating the rooms of a house before they have built the foundation or the frame. The architect knows that the slides are the last thing you should create. The slides are the visual aids. They are not the presentation itself. Your first and most important job is to architect the story of your talk. You must build the entire narrative arc on a single, simple, analog tool. This is the one-page blueprint. You will not use a computer for this. You will use a physical sheet of paper or a whiteboard and a stack of sticky notes. This analog process forces you to be concise and allows you to easily rearrange the structure of your talk. Step 1. The brain dump. You will take a stack of sticky notes. On each note, you will write down one single idea, story, or data point that you might want to include in your talk. Do not filter yourself. Step 2. The 3-act structure. You will draw 3 large columns on your sheet of paper, labeled the beginning, the hook, the middle, the body, and the end, the close. Step 3. The bookends. You will go through your sticky notes and find the 2 most important ideas, your opening and your closing. For the opening, what is the single most surprising or intriguing idea you have? Place that in the beginning column. For the closing, what is the one single thing you want your audience to do? This is your one thing. Place that in the end column. Step 4. The clustering. You will now take all your remaining sticky notes and group them into logical, thematic clusters. Your goal is to end up with 3 and only 3 primary clusters. The human brain is brilliant at remembering things in 3s. These will be the 3 main points of your talk. Step 5. The sequencing. You will now arrange your 3 main clusters in a logical, narrative order within the middle column. You are building a journey for your audience. By the end of this process, you will have a complete, one-page architectural blueprint for your entire presentation. Part 2. The content engine, engineering your talk. Case File 05. The one thing mandate, finding the core, unforgettable message of your talk. You have your one-page blueprint. You have a powerful opening, a structured 3-part body, and a clear call to action. Now, you must infuse your entire presentation with a single, unifying, and unforgettable core message. The amateur speaker's presentation is a buffet of a dozen different, disconnected ideas. The audience is left confused, overwhelmed, and unsure of what the main point was. They walk away unable to articulate the single, most important takeaway. The architect of influence knows that a great talk is not a buffet. It is a single, perfectly cooked meal. It is engineered to deliver one, and only one, core, transformational idea. This is your one thing. It is the central, recurring theme of your talk. This is the one thing blueprint. Step 1. The distillation protocol. Look at your one-page blueprint. Now, ask yourself a ruthless, clarifying question. If my audience were to forget 99% of this presentation, what is the one single idea I would want them to remember a week from now? You must be able to state this one thing in a single, simple, and tweetable sentence. Step 2. The nugget formulation. You will craft this one thing into a short, memorable, and repeatable nugget of wisdom. For talk on time management, the amateur's message is, I'm going to share some tips for being more productive. The architect's one thing is the secret to productivity is not about managing your time. It is about managing your focus. Step 3. the repetition mandate. Once you have your powerful one sentence, one thing, you will strategically weave it into the very fabric of your presentation using the classic orders rule of repetition. First, tell them what you're going to tell them. You will state your one thing clearly in your introduction. Second, tell them. You will make your one thing the central, unifying theme of the body of your talk. Each of your three main points will be a different way of proving it. And third, tell them what you told them. You will restate your one thing with power and conviction in your conclusion. By architecting your entire presentation around a single, powerful, and repeatable one thing, you are doing more than just delivering talk. You are implanting an idea. You are giving your audience a simple, sticky framework that will stay with them long after they have forgotten the bullet points. Case File 06. The hook, points, close, blueprint. The universal structure of all great presentations. You have your one-page blueprint and your unforgettable one thing. Now, it is time to flesh out the content of your talk. You will architect your talk using a simple, powerful, and timeless three-act structure: the hook, the points, and the close. This is the universal grammar of all effective communication. Act 1, the hook. This is the first 60 seconds. The goal is to grab your audience's attention and convince them that the next 20 minutes will be a worthwhile investment. The amateur speaker starts with a boring intro like, "Hi, my name is Ron." You will never do this. You will start with a powerful, attention-grabbing hook. The question hook starts with a provocative question. What if I told you that everything you know about time management is wrong? The story hook starts with a short, compelling anecdote. The statistic hook starts with a shocking piece of data. Your hook must be followed by a clear, "what's in it for me" statement. Act 2, the points. This is the body of the talk. The goal is to deliver your core content in a clear and memorable structure. You will follow the rule of three mandate. The body of your talk will have three, and only three, main points. You will use this signposting technique to be a good tour guide, using verbal cues like, "So the first step in this system is," and now let's move on to the second point. For each point, you will provide a layer of evidence, like a piece of data, a case study, or a compelling story. Act 3, the close. This is the final 2 minutes. The goal is to summarize your core message and inspire the audience to take a specific action. The amateur says, so yeah, that's all I have. The architect close has 2 parts. First, the bookend summary. You will briefly summarize your 3 main points and, most importantly, restate your one thing. Second, the call to action. You will end with a clear, direct, and inspiring call to a single, specific action. By architecting your presentation with this disciplined blueprint, you are transforming it from a rambling collection of ideas into a tight, compelling, and powerful narrative journey. Case File 07. The Storyteller's Secret. How to use narrative to make your data memorable. You are in the body of your presentation. You are making one of your 3 main points, and you need to present a crucial piece of data to support your argument. The amateur speaker, at this moment, puts a dense, complicated chart or a boring bullet point list of statistics up on the screen and simply reads it to the audience. This is the fastest way to put an audience to sleep. The architect of influence knows a profound secret of the human brain. Data does not persuade, stories do. The data is the evidence, but the story is the vehicle that carries that evidence into the hearts and minds of your audience and makes it stick. A fact on its own is cold and forgettable. A fact that is wrapped in a simple, compelling narrative becomes a powerful and unforgettable tool of persuasion. You will never again present a piece of data as a simple, standalone fact. You will always architect it into a simple, 3-part data story. Step 1, the anchor. This is the human context. Before you present the number, you must first anchor it in a relatable, human context. You must introduce a character. You will start with a simple phrase like, "Let me tell you about Sarah," or "Imagine a typical customer." Step 2, the reveal. This is the data point. Now, you will reveal your single, most important data point. But you will not just state it. You will frame it as a moment of discovery. You'll say, "So, we decided to do a study. We analyzed the work patterns of 100 project managers, just like Sarah. And what we found was staggering. The data showed that the average project manager spends 15 hours every single week in low-value administrative work. Step 3. The meaning. This is the emotional impact. The final and most important step is to translate that data point into its emotional human consequence. You'll say, think about what that means. That's 15 hours every week that Sarah is not spending on the high-value, strategic work she was hired to do. That's 15 hours of frustration. And that is the problem we are here to solve. Compare the two approaches. The amateur's approach is, our data shows that project managers spend 38% of their time on administrative tasks. This is a forgettable fact. The architect's approach is the three-part story about Sarah. This is a memorable, empathetic, and powerful narrative. Case File 08, the anti-PowerPoint protocol, a system for designing slides that support, not suffocate, your message. You are ready to create your visual aids. The amateur speaker, at this moment, makes a series of predictable, catastrophic errors. They open PowerPoint, and they begin to use their slides as a teleprompter. They cram every single word they're going to say onto their slides in dense, bullet-pointed paragraphs. They then commit the cardinal sin of public speaking. They turn their back to the audience and simply read their slides out loud. This is not a presentation. It is death by PowerPoint. The slides are not supporting the speaker. They're competing with them. The architect of influence understands a profound truth. The slides are for the audience, not for the speaker. Their one and only job is to be a simple, powerful, and visual reinforcement of the words you are saying. This is the minimalist slide design blueprint. You will architect your slides with a ruthless, minimalist discipline. Law 1. The one idea per slide mandate. A slide, like a sentence, must contain one, and only one, core idea. A slide with a dozen bullet points is a cognitive nightmare. A slide with one single, powerful image and a few words is a billboard. It can be understood in 3 seconds. Law 2. The 6-word rule. You should aim to have no more than 6 words on any given slide. This is a powerful creative constraint. It forces you to distill your point down to its absolute essence. Your slide will not be a bullet point. It will be a powerful, declarative headline. A weak slide has 10 bullet points. A strong slide has a single, full-screen graph with a headline. Q3 sales grew by 42%. Law 3. The visual over text mandate. Your slides should be primarily visual. The human brain can process images 60,000 times faster than text. The best visual is a high-quality, full-screen, emotionally resonant photograph. A good visual is a simple, clean chart. The worst to be avoided is a slide that is just text. Law 4. The branding mandate. Your slide deck must be professionally branded and visually consistent. You will create a simple master template for your presentation, using the same clean font, color palette, and logo placement on every slide. Part 3. The delivery protocol. Mastering the stage. Case File 09. The deliberate practice engine. A playbook for rehearsing like a pro. You have engineered a masterpiece. You have a powerful one thing, a clear structure, and beautiful slides. Now, you face the final and most frequently skipped stage, rehearsal. The amateur speaker makes one of 2 fatal errors. They don't rehearse at all, believing they can wing it. This is a recipe for a rambling delivery. The second error is that they try to memorize their entire speech, word for word. This is a recipe for a stiff, robotic delivery and creates the terrifying risk of going blank. The architect of influence does not wing it, and they do not memorize. They internalize. Their goal is not to memorize the script. Their goal is to master the structure and flow of their story so deeply that they can deliver it with effortless, conversational confidence. This is achieved through deliberate practice. This is the progressive rehearsal blueprint. Step 1. The talk-through. This is the first pass. You will stand up and simply talk through your presentation from start to finish, using only your one-page sticky note blueprint as a guide. You're just telling the story to an empty room. Step 2. The record and watch. This is the brutal truth. You will now record yourself on your smartphone, delivering the entire presentation. You will then force yourself to watch the entire recording. This will be a painful and humbling experience. You will notice all your verbal tics, awkward gestures, and the parts where your energy drops. This is your game tape. Step 3. The dress rehearsal. The goal is to simulate the real presentation. You will now give your presentation out loud with your final slides, clicking through them as you speak. You will stand up. A good rule of thumb is to rehearse the entire presentation at least 3 times. By the 3rd time, the story is now in your bones. Step 4. The memorize your bookends mandate. You will not memorize your entire speech, but you will memorize 2 parts of it, word for word. Your opening, which is the first 30 to 60 seconds, and your closing, the final 30 to 60 seconds. These are the 2 highest leverage moments. Having a powerful, confident, memorized opening will get you through the moment of maximum anxiety. Having a powerful, memorized close will ensure you end on a high, impactful note. Case File 10. The Nonverbal Architect. Mastering stance, gestures, and eye contact. You're on stage. Your message is brilliant. Your slides are beautiful, but your body is telling a different, more powerful, and more distracting story. You are nervously pacing. Your hands are shoved in your pockets. Your eyes are darting around the room. The amateur speaker is completely unaware of their own nonverbal communication. They allow their nervous energy to leak out through a series of low-confidence tics. The architect of influence knows that their body is their most powerful instrument. They understand that what the audience sees is often more impactful than what they hear. They systematically architect their physical presence to project confidence, authority, and trustworthiness. This is the confident presence blueprint. 1. The stance. This is your foundation. The amateur shifts their weight and paces nervously. The architect's ready stance is to plant your feet firmly on the ground, approximately shoulder-width apart, with your weight evenly balanced. This is a grounded, stable, and powerful foundation. You will not pace. You will only move with purpose. 2. The gestures. This is your visual language. The amateur's mistake is the T-Rex, keeping arms pinned to their sides, or the fig leaf, clasping hands in front. The architect's gesture zone is the space between your shoulders and your hips. Your default ready position is with hands relaxed at your sides or bent at a 90-degree angle in front of you. You will use open, expansive gestures. Gesturing with your palms facing up is a universal, subconscious signal of honesty. Your gestures should also match your words. 3. The eye contact. This is your connection. The amateur's mistake is the lighthouse, sweeping their gaze rapidly across the room, or the ceiling gazer, looking up when they are thinking. The architect's point-to-point protocol is to make a series of genuine, one-on-one connections. You will pick one friendly-looking person in one section of the room. You will make direct eye contact and deliver one full sentence to that person. You will then gracefully break contact, pause, and move to a different person in a different section of the room. This technique makes your delivery feel incredibly personal and conversational. Case File 11. The Vocal Command Center. A guide to pace, pitch, and the power of the pause. The final instrument you must master is your own voice. You can have a brilliant message and confident body language, but if your vocal delivery is weak, monotonous, or filled with nervous tics, your message will fail to land with impact. The amateur speaker makes predictable vocal errors. They speak too quickly in a high-pitched, nervous tone. Their voice is a flat, monotonous drone. Their speech is littered with distracting filler words like and like. The architect of influence knows that their voice is a musical instrument. They consciously manipulate the pace, pitch, and volume of their voice to create a dynamic and engaging listening experience. This is the vocal variety blueprint. 1. Pace. This is the tempo. The number one vocal sin of a nervous speaker is speaking too fast. You must consciously slow down. You should aim to speak at a pace that feels just a little bit too slow to you. This will likely be the perfect, authoritative pace for your audience. You will also vary your tempo to match your content. Accelerate for an exciting story and decelerate for your most important point. 2. Pitch and volume. These are the melody and dynamics. A monotonous, single-pitch delivery is boring. You must use the full, natural range of your voice. Raise your pitch and volume to convey excitement. Lower your pitch and volume to emphasize a critical, serious point. Leaning in and lowering your voice to an almost conspiratorial whisper will make the audience listen with intense focus. 3. The pause. This is the secret weapon. The amateur is terrified of silence. They fill every second with sound, which is why they use filler words. The architect knows that the pause is the single most powerful tool in public speaking. A deliberate, well-placed pause is a sign of immense confidence. You will pause for a full 2 seconds right before you deliver your most important point to create tension. You will pause after a complex idea to give the audience time to process. And the next time you feel the urge to say, you will train yourself to simply close your mouth and pause for a second instead. Case File 12. The Day of Protocol. A pre-flight checklist for managing nerves and owning the room. The day has arrived. Your presentation is in a few hours. You have done all the architectural work. Your content is brilliant. Your slides are beautiful. You have rehearsed. But now, the biological reality of the saber-toothed tiger is beginning to take hold. Your heart is starting to beat faster. The anxiety is building. The amateur speaker makes a series of unforced errors. They cram new information at the last minute. They drink 5 cups of coffee. They rush to the venue. The architect of influence knows that the final few hours are a critical operational window. They have a calm, systematic, and repeatable pre-flight checklist designed to manage their physical and mental state. This is the pre-flight checklist. 1. The no new information mandate. In the 24 hours before your presentation, you are not allowed to add any new content or slides. Your presentation is locked. Your only job now is to trust the work you have already done. 2. The fuel protocol. For at least 3 hours before you speak, avoid caffeine. Adrenaline is already a powerful stimulant. Caffeine will amplify your jitters. Avoid sugary drinks. Sip room temperature water. Have a light, healthy meal with some protein about 90 minutes before you speak. 3. The physical protocol. About 30 to 60 minutes before your talk, go for a brisk 15-minute walk to burn off excess adrenaline. 5 minutes before you go on, find a private space and do your 1-minute power pose. In the final minute before you are introduced, do 3 to 4 rounds of your slow, controlled box breathing. For the room protocol, you will arrive at the venue at least 30 minutes early. You will immediately find the A/V technician and test your slides and microphone. You will not hide in the corner before your talk. You will stand near the entrance and greet a few audience members as they walk in. This transforms the scary, anonymous audience into a collection of friendly, individual human beings. By architecting this calm, disciplined protocol, you are systematically eliminating every source of unnecessary stress. You are not hoping you will have a good day. You are engineering one. Part 4. The Career Engine, from Presentation to Promotion. Case File 13. The Signature Talk Project, building a go-to presentation for your career. You have now mastered the full, end-to-end architecture of a powerful presentation. You have a system for building and delivering a talk that can influence, persuade, and inspire. Now, it is time to build your primary career asset. The amateur speaker treats every presentation as a one-off creation. They start from a blank page every time, which is a massive drain on their time. The architect of influence knows that they need a signature talk. A signature talk is a master, modular, and endlessly repeatable presentation on your single, most important area of professional expertise. It is your stump speech. It is a powerful, reusable asset that you can deploy in a dozen different high-stakes situations. This is the signature talk blueprint. Step 1. Choose your one thing. Identify the single, most valuable topic on which you want to be known as the go-to expert. Your topic should be at the intersection of your genuine expertise, your passion, and your audience's pain. Step 2. Architect the master version. You will now use the entire protocol to architect the definitive 45-minute master version of your signature talk. You will create your one-page blueprint, define your unforgettable one thing, craft a powerful structure, weave in your best stories, and design a beautiful slide deck. Step 3. The modular architecture. You will now deconstruct your master talk into a series of modular components to create a system that allows you to easily assemble a customized version for any time constraint. You will have 3 standard builds. First, the keynote, which is your 45-minute master version. Second, the breakout session, which is a 20-minute version where you remove your weakest of the 3 main points. Third, the executive update, a 5-minute version where you ruthlessly strip your talk down to its absolute essence. Step 4, the proactive pitch. Once you have your signature talk, you will not wait for people to ask you to give it. You will proactively look for opportunities. You can pitch it to your boss for the next team offsite or to a local industry meetup. Your signature talk is a machine for building your reputation. It is the architectural foundation of a career built on influence. Case File 14, the boardroom blueprint, a playbook for nailing a high-stakes business presentation. This is the moment. You are not just giving a talk to your peers. You are presenting to the senior leadership team. You are in the boardroom. The audience is small, the stakes are incredibly high, and their time is the most valuable resource in the entire company. The amateur speaker makes a catastrophic, career-limiting mistake. They treat a presentation to executives the same way they would any other. They start with a long, meandering story. They save their conclusion for the very end. They are 5 minutes in, and they have already lost the room. The architect of influence knows that presenting to an executive audience requires a completely different architectural blueprint. Executives are not interested in your process. They are interested in your conclusion. You must completely invert the traditional presentation structure. This is the BLUF blueprint. BLUF is a military communication protocol that is the gold standard for executive briefings. It stands for bottom line up front. The traditional structure is hook, then points, then conclusion. The executive BLUF structure is conclusion and recommendation, then supporting point 1, then supporting point 2, then supporting point 3, then open for discussion. Your very first slide and the first words out of your mouth must be your single, most important conclusion and your clear, direct recommendation. For example, good morning. The bottom line up front is this. Our analysis shows that the primary cause of our Q3 customer churn was the recent update to our user interface. Therefore, my recommendation is that we immediately form a task force to roll back the changes. Now, let me briefly walk you through the 3 key data points that support this conclusion. The next few slides will each be dedicated to one single, powerful piece of evidence. You will architect your presentation to last no more than 10 minutes, even if you have a 30-minute time slot. This is a sign of respect and leaves the majority of the time for discussion. Finally, you will have a second, appendix slide deck prepared but hidden, containing all of the detailed charts and granular data. If an executive asks a detailed question, you will confidently say, "I'm glad you asked. I actually have a slide on that." Case File 15, the Q&A Gauntlet, a system for handling any question with confidence and grace. You have reached the end of your formal presentation. You have delivered your message with clarity and confidence. And now, you say the words that strike fear into the hearts of most speakers. Are there any questions? The question and answer session is the most unpredictable and most dangerous part of any presentation. A single, hostile question or a question that you don't know the answer to can completely derail your credibility. The amateur speaker is reactive and unprepared. They're a deer in the headlights, hoping for easy questions. The architect is proactive. They know that the Q&A is not an epilogue. It is the second act of their presentation. They do not fear the Q&A. They prepare for it with the same architectural rigor that they brought to the presentation itself. This is the anticipate and reframe blueprint. Step 1. The pre-mortem Q&A. This is how you anticipate the attack. In the final stage of your rehearsal, you will perform a pre-mortem on your own talk. You will ask yourself, what is the single weakest or most controversial point in my entire argument? What is the most hostile, aggressive question that someone could possibly ask me? What is the one question I am most terrified of being asked? You will write down these 5 to 10 nightmare questions. You will then, in the calm of your own office, pre-script a calm, confident, and concise answer for every single one. Step 2. The listen and pause protocol. When a question is being asked, you will listen with your full, undivided attention. After they have finished, you will take a deliberate 2-second pause before you begin to answer. This makes you look thoughtful, gives you a moment to formulate your answer, and ensures you are responding to the question they actually asked. Step 3. The bridge technique. This is the reframe, and it's the single most powerful technique for handling a difficult question. You will not always answer the question directly. You will build a verbal bridge from the question they asked to the message you want to deliver. The architecture is, that's an interesting question. And I think the real underlying issue that we need to address is, for a hostile question, you can say, that's a really important point. And I believe that the core principle of what I'm proposing is actually the single best way to support your concern. For a question you don't know the answer to, the script is, that is an excellent, detailed question. I do not have that specific data point in front of me, and I don't want to give you an inaccurate answer. My commitment is that I'll find the answer and get back to you by the end of the day. What I can tell you right now is, and then you bridge back to a core message you're confident about. Case File 16. The leadership advantage. How great communication becomes your career superpower. You have reached the end of this roadmap. You have now architected a complete, end-to-end system for becoming a powerful and persuasive communicator. You have moved beyond the simple act of giving a presentation and have begun to master the art of influence. The amateur professional believes that their career progression is primarily dependent on the quality of their work. They believe that if they just keep their head down and do their tasks, they will be recognized and rewarded. The architect of a great career knows a more profound truth. Your career progression is not dependent on the quality of your work. It is dependent on the perceived value of your work. And the value of your work is a direct function of your ability to communicate that value to others. There are brilliant, technically gifted people in every organization who are stuck in junior roles because they cannot articulate their ideas. There are strategically minded leaders at the top of every organization who got there not because they were the best technical expert, but because they were the best communicator. The ability to stand in front of a room and clearly, confidently, and persuasively articulate a vision, a plan, or a result is not a soft skill. It is a career superpower. Your total impact on an organization is a simple equation. Impact equals the quality of your ideas, multiplied by your ability to communicate them. A brilliant idea with zero communication has zero impact. A good idea with brilliant communication can change the entire direction of a company. At the project level, your ability to run a crisp update meeting gets your projects approved and makes you known as someone who can get things done. At the departmental level, your ability to craft and deliver a signature talk establishes you as a go-to expert and a thought leader. At the executive level, your ability to walk into the boardroom and deliver a calm, confident, and persuasive argument gets you noticed. When it is time for a promotion to a director-level role, your name is at the top of the list. The skills you have architected in this roadmap are the engine of this entire journey. They're the keys that will unlock the door at each successive level of your career. Conclusion: you are the architect of influence. You began this roadmap with a myth, the myth of the natural speaker, the charismatic prodigy who was simply born with the gift of the gab. You saw the stage as a terrifying, high-stakes arena, and you may have believed that you were not qualified to step into the spotlight. That myth has now been fully deconstructed and replaced with an engineered reality. You now know that great communication is not a gift. It is a craft. It is not an act of magic. It is an act of architecture. You are not a performer seeking applause. You are a guide in service of your audience. You have deconstructed the very anatomy of fear and have a clear physiological protocol for transforming that anxiety into excitement. You have filled your toolkit with the most powerful architectural blueprints for structuring a message, from the one-page plan to the hook, points, closed narrative arc. Most importantly, you have moved beyond the content and have mastered the art of delivery. You have the protocols for rehearsing like a pro, for commanding a room with your physical presence, for using your voice as a musical instrument, and for navigating the unpredictable gauntlet of the Q&A with unshakable confidence. You do not just have an idea to share. You have a complete end-to-end system for sharing that idea with maximum impact. The path from here is one of practice. It is the courage to raise your hand in the next meeting, to volunteer for the next presentation, to take the stage. Your voice has value. Your ideas have the power to create change. The systems you have just learned are the amplifier that will allow that voice to be heard. You're no longer a passive passenger in the conversations that shape your world. You are an architect of them. You possess the skill to take a complex idea and transfer it, with clarity and passion, into the minds of others. You are the architect of influence. Now go speak. Did this roadmap help you? Your journey is just beginning, but your feedback is crucial. If this book provided you with real-world value, the single best way to support this mission is to leave an honest review on Amazon. More by Gardinski. Your roadmap continues. You can now command a room and influence individuals. The next step is to apply that power to lead teams and win high-stakes conversations. Book recommendations include From Zero to Speaker and From Zero to Negotiator.